Greetings to you and welcome to this episode of Grace Podcast. I'm Timothy Muse. I'll be your host today as we spend this time together. Thank you for investing in you. Thank you for investing in your betterment, in your growth, in your love, in your life. I've said many times, time is our greatest commodity, and the fact that you're willing to invest in you is truly an incredible gift. It's truly an incredible thing, and I'm so pleased to be part of that. I really am. It's truly an honor for me to be part of whatever portion of you looking to better you is. And so thank you for that. Thank you for inviting me in. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for taking the time to bettering yourself. Now, as I've said, just because we're bettering ourselves doesn't mean we're coming from a place of bad. We're really not. We actually can't change ourselves. We can't grow by hating ourselves. We can't see where we are as bad in order to be better, in order to be good. We can't polarize it like that. And actually, there's no reason to. Good or bad, it really, it's kind of a subjective thing. You are where you are. Whether you're happy with where you are or not, that's in the realm of your control. But you are where you are. If you want to be somewhere else, then you will be somewhere else. But you are where you are right now. And so let's take where you are and let's take it to the next step. Let's be better. Maybe there's a portion of you that wants to be better. Maybe it's not the whole thing. Maybe it's just a little bit. And that's okay. It's okay that you're looking just to move a little bit forward. It really is. It's okay to move just a little bit forward. We don't need to move a lot forward. We don't need to move forward every day. We can have a little bit at a time or portions of ourselves that we want to increase or grow. They can be small, but they can be significant to us. Anytime we take a step in a stronger direction for our lives and for those around us and for the world, we are making a positive difference. So thank you for that. Thank you for investing the time in it. Thank you for inviting me in it. And if it's really helpful, if you're really being moved by this, then I certainly would encourage you to share it out there. Get it out there so that other people can listen. Share it out there on your platforms, Facebook, Instagram, X. If you're listening on one of the platforms, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, then wherever you're listening, then I would encourage you to follow and give us a rating and review so that others can see that people are taking advantage of this. And if you're on the YouTube side, if you're seeing me, in talking head form, then I definitely encourage you to subscribe to the YouTube channel and get it out there so that others will take advantage of it and others will see it. So definitely, that'd be an awesome thing to do. And I'd appreciate it. I really would, because I really would like to see this grow, really grassroots and come up from the bottom. So welcome to it. So today, and if you want to reach out to me directly, you can reach out to me through the website, GR.CE I always seem to forget that. I get to the following portion, but I always seem to forget the website portion. But I'm sure if you've been listening long enough, you know it by now. GR.CE You can reach out to me there if you want to do some coaching or have some conversation. I'd love to hear from you. So today, I want to talk to you about identity statements. I want to talk to us about identity, but really identity statements. See, one of the things that happens that we do in life, one of the things that we allow to happen often is we allow our situation to create our identity. We allow our situation to create our identity. So if I were to ask you, how are you? I am stressed. I am tired. I am not feeling good. I am hurting. An I am statement is an identity statement. That's not a where I'm at right now statement. It's an identity statement. So when we make an I am statement, that's an identity statement. We're making a statement about who we are as a person, as a being, as an entity in the world. An I am statement is an identity statement. Okay? Now, it's not now oftentimes though, what we do is we take a situation and we make it an identity statement. So I am stressed. Well, stress is a situation. And we talked about stress the last episode. But stress is a situation. Stress comes and goes, right? If you're watching the news and you're seeing there's trouble in your neighborhood, then that's going to cause you stress. But if you're watching the news and you see there's trouble across the country, that's going to cause you stress. But you turn the news off, but you're not in stress anymore, right? I get stressed when I go to work. Work is stressful for me. Okay. So, but when you leave work, you're not at work, so you're not stressed anymore. So you see, stress is situational. It is. Now we can allow that situation to bleed one to the other, but stress is situational. So therefore, it's not identity. But what happens is what we do is we allow stress to become our identity. Okay? Or pain. I'm in pain. Okay, are you always in pain? But pain is still not your identity. All right? So what happens is we can craft our identity statements, our identity, our being, and really it's not just a statement about what we say to others, but it's also what we believe about ourselves. It becomes our identity. I'm just stressed. Okay? I'm always stressed. Well, not always. You're probably not stressing while you're sleeping, right? There's probably like 3 minutes while you're enjoying a cupcake where you're not stressed. Okay, so stress, or I'm always hurting. Well, always hurting, or hurting a lot, or hurting sometimes. It's about what we believe about ourselves, what we allow our identity to be. Okay, and then that identity comes out in our I am statements. An I am statement is an identity statement. I am stressed. I am angry. I am hurt. I am loved. I am important. I am beautiful. That's a big one. Oftentimes our identities, we want to make our identity ugly. I am ugly. I am fat. I am stupid. I am worthless. I am less than. Okay? No. But when we allow that identity to come forward, when we allow that to be our identity statement, then we allow that to be our identity. And oftentimes those are driven by situations. Well, I am ugly because I'm comparing myself to someone who's prettier. At least that's what the world says. The world says they're prettier. I mean, as a guy who has no hair, as for those of you who can see, I have no hair. All right, I'm bald. Now I don't shave anymore. I've got a little bit of peach fuzz. Okay, but I can look at someone who's got some man who's got gorgeous full hair, and I can say in my identity I'm less than because the world says that man is prettier because he's got more hair. Okay, and so I'm less than because I don't have hair because I'm bald. I am a less than because I'm bald. I could say that. No, and I'm not fishing for compliments, and thank you for those who say that, I have a good shaped head and all that kind of stuff. I'm very confident in my looks. All I'm saying is that I can take what the world says is supposed to be, and then I can look at myself as less than. And that can become my identity. Because then I'm not as smart as everybody else, I'm not as capable as everybody else, and I'm not as in shape as everybody else. So then my identity becomes less than, and I begin to think less than of myself. And then I begin to speak less than of myself. My wife could say, you look really good today. And I'd say, yeah, whatever. I try. Okay, I try. Well, what I'm speaking out of my identity is that I don't believe in myself enough, that I don't think that I look good. And rather than just telling her that she's wrong, which I wouldn't do, of course, because she's not, but then what I'm doing is I'm tearing my own identity down. Okay. So our identity statements are a reflection of what we think about ourselves and what we allow to be our life. And oftentimes we allow our situation to be our identity. We allow our stress or our hurt or our pain or our brokenness or our grief. And they're all important, but they're not our identity. I am grieving. You're a loved, beautiful person who's in the process of grief. You see the difference. When we recraft our identity statements, to use them to lift ourselves up, even in the hardest of times, then we deal with the hardest of times better. But we also change our identity, how we think about ourselves. Okay? Words are important. What we speak is what we are in a lot of ways. So I am sick. I think it was John Lennon who made the famous quote that says, don't ever say I am sick because you're making the statement that I am sick. Say I am healing, because that then is a different identity, and it's really powerful. I am a loved person who right now is not at my physical best, but I am healing from that which I'm struggling with. Okay? So again, that statement is far more positive and far more upbeat and far more supportive of who I am than I'm sick. Now, I do it, don't get me wrong. I continue to work on it as well. But I am statements should be baseline, they should be deep, they should be whole, And then you can add descriptors of circumstances or situations. So let's practice that. So let's go with the I am sick. Okay, I am sick. That's a statement. That's a situation. I'm not always sick. I might be sick right now, but I'm not always sick. But I'm not going to allow the sick to become my identity. So I am loved. I am important. I am a human being who right now is experiencing physical illness. Okay? So I'm identifying myself as something greater than my illness. I'm just also acknowledging that right now my physical body is experiencing illness. We can do that with mental illness too, or neurodivergence, or however we want to address that. I am a full and complete human being. I am important and loved, and I'm also right now experiencing some forms of anxiety or some forms of depression, or some manifestations of bipolar or what have you. So very different, because now I'm not a nutcase, I'm not mentally ill, but I am full and complete. I'm just experiencing this situation. When we experience a situation, because situations they don't last forever. They don't. Situations come and go. Okay? I'm hungry. Well, I'm a full human being right now who's experiencing hunger. But 10 minutes from now, if I eat a snack, I'm not going to be hungry anymore. Well, I don't want my identity to just keep changing over and over. I go from I'm hungry as an identity to I'm satiated as an identity to I'm hungry as an identity to I'm tired as an identity. No, I'm a human being. I'm loved and I'm important. And right now I'm hungry. I'm experiencing hunger. I'm experiencing tiredness. You see how what I'm saying here is that our identity statements need to flow out of who we are at our core, and then they can be applied to all the situations in life. Okay? Now, the important thing is we really need to be clear about our identity. Who are we? Who are you? Who am I? And I think, again, we are so inundated with so many things. There are so many things going on around us and in us and by us that we don't allow ourselves that chance to ask that question, that we don't dwell with that question. Who am I? Who am I as a person? Who am I? If someone were really to sit down with me right now and ask me, who are you? What would my answer be? How would I define that? Who am I? Those are important questions. That's the deep question to ask. Who am I? And then out of that question comes your identity statements. Okay? So the first step, I would say, is ask that question. Who am I? And you're not going to answer that question in 10 minutes unless you've been dwelling in it, thinking about it. Maybe you need to start a little who am I journal. And ask that question of yourself. Who am I? And then just start jotting down thoughts, ideas. Who am I? And then you're probably going to find that a lot of what you start out with is situational. I'm overweight. I'm stressed. I'm married. I'm a mother. I'm a father. Those are situational. They're part of your identity, but they're not your identity as a whole. So who are you as a person? Who are you? And then how does your situation affect your identity, and how does your identity affect your situation? Because when we identify ourselves to our situations, then we're just up and down all over the place. The stronger you lean into your identity, then the more you can be balanced within the situations. I'm a Christian, okay? And you know that. I've talked about that. So I'm a loved child of God. That's what I'm going to say. That's one of the cores of my identity. So whether I'm happy, sad, whether I'm excited, sleeping, stressed, I'm still a loved child of God. I'm a loved child of God who is experiencing stress, who is experiencing anger, who's experiencing hurt, okay? But first and foremost, that's my identity. Now, I'm not saying that's what your identity needs to be. I've always been very clear this is not meant to be a religious podcast. But I've also never apologized for my belief structure. Okay, so I'm just telling you a part of who I am. I'm a loved child of God. That's my identity. I am married, so that's part of my identity. I'm a husband. Okay, and I am a father, so that's part of my identity. And that'll never change. Once I became a father, that'll never change. Whether I'm happy, sad, big, small, tired, sleepy, I'm still a father. That's my identity. So find out your identity. Figure that out. Spend the time. Ask the questions. Seek it out. Maybe you need to, talk with others. Maybe you need to bring another dialogue partner in to start crafting your identity statement, because then your identity statement can speak to your situations. And things change. They do when we don't allow our situation to be our identity. Things change when we allow our identity to affect our situation rather than our situation to become our identity. And the more work you put into it, the more investment you put into figuring out who you are as a person, the more you can then ask who you are as a person to affect your situations. And it's very powerful. It's very powerful. So, all right. That's what I got for you for today. I hope this is helpful. I really, truly do. It's a joy to be with you. As always, please share this podcast out there. Get it out on the social media platforms, on the listening platforms, out on YouTube. If you're just tuning in on the YouTube side and you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do that so you can continue to get caught up on everything. And reach out to me if you'd like to. The website, GRACELifeCoaching.com. And as always, here at Grace Life Coaching, we want you to be the best you.